Hello my wonderful aliens! How are you guys doing today? I hope you are all doing wonderful, fantastic, out of this world. It's your girl, Sofi Starship, coming at you guys with another video. Today we have a continuation of my trip vlog. The Ireland portion of my vacation has been up for a couple of weeks now. And today we are going to dive into the Scotland section of the vlog. I'm going to make this pretty short and sweet, but if you have not yet seen the Ireland portion, I will link that video in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's get into the Scotland portion of our trip vlog. On day 5, we hopped on a plane and headed over to Edinburgh, Scotland. We took the rest of the day to get settled, and the next day we headed out to Stirling Cemetery and Stirling Castle. Kind of a fun, strange fact about me, but I actually really like graveyards. I think they are super pretty, and this one was especially gorgeous. After checking out the graveyard, we had a guided tour around Stirling Castle. It was a really warm day out, and there were plenty of people seeing the castle. I admired the architecture while we waited for the tour guide. I didn't have time for a full makeup look on this day, so I did a no makeup. Once the tour got started, the tour guide showed us a bunch of beautiful views over the walls of the castle. It was such a clear and beautiful day, you could see for literally miles. Along with seeing the outside of the castle, we also got to see the Great Hall, which apparently is used for events on regular occasions. Attending an event at a castle is now on my bucket list. There were other rooms in the castle that were used to showcase flags and paintings. Some of the rooms in this castle were also staged. The green decorations in the dining room were super pretty. Some of the rooms had really pretty decorations on the walls and the ceilings. My favorite room in the castle had a ton of tapestries. They had copies of The Last Unicorn all over the walls. After our tour of the castle, we stepped outside, and there were a couple of men wearing kilts and playing the bagpipes. The next stop was Gleneagles, where we had lunch. We had our food at the restaurant, and we checked out the golf course, which was huge. Personally, the only golf I've ever played is mini golf. After lunch, we headed back to Edinburgh and checked out some really cool bookstores. The old books were really cool, and I'm definitely trying to get into my reading era, but I didn't find anything I wanted to grab. While we were walking around looking at bookstores, we came across a shop that had a cat-shaped sign on the outside. It was called Mason de Moggy, and we went up to the window and looked, and it was a cat cafe. I was so excited. I love cats. If you didn't know, I have a cat. Her name is River. Immediately, we knew we had to go, so we scanned their QR code on the door, and we made reservations for that evening. We ended day 6 with a visit to the cat cafe, Mason de Moggy. We had never planned to visit a cat cafe in Edinburgh, but honestly, it was the best thing we did on the entire trip, in my opinion. Our reservation gave us an hour to hang out with the cats and get to know them. There were quite a few adult cats there, as well as 2 kittens. The whole cafe was so cute and decorated for the cats to play in. They were a little shy at first, but they got a lot more friendly during our hour reservation. The cafe also served really cute drinks. I got myself a matcha with rose petals. The matcha was so good, but I think they made it with vanilla oat milk because it was so sweet. After the cafe, we took a little stroll around Edinburgh. On day 7, we drove over to St. Andrews, and we started our day with some breakfast and shopping. We visited a few souvenir-style shops and also a bookstore. After walking around and checking out the shops a little bit, we walked over to meet our tour guide at Martyrs Monument. It was a bit of a gray day out, but the view from the monument was still really pretty. The first place we went to see with our tour guide was the Old Course. As some of you may know, the sport of golf originated right here in Scotland. After seeing the Old Course, we walked over through the city to the University of St. Andrews. I genuinely love all of the pretty buildings in these countries. They have the most beautiful architecture. Next, we saw the ruins of St. Andrews Castle, which was super beautiful because it overlooked the ocean. The views were absolutely gorgeous, and we enjoyed them for a little while before we headed over to St. Andrew's Eastern Cemetery, where St. Andrew's Cathedral is. The walking tour was so fun, but after walking all day, we were super tired, so our tour guide recommended this gelato place called Janetta's. After getting gelato, we went back to Edinburgh and called it a night, and that was the end of day 7. On day 8, I was super excited because we had reserved for tea at Edinburgh Castle. It was a super good thing that we bought tickets ahead of time because it ended up being totally crowded. Once they let us into the tea room, it was really beautiful, and they had some really cool art on the walls that was based on things that the royals had worn. There was a pretty big drink menu with lots of different tea options, and also some cute little flowers on the menu. I was so glad that we had extra time in the morning on this particular day because I was able to get my makeup all done and get ready for tea at the castle. I ordered a raspberry tea as well as a cappuccino, and they came out with a large tower for each of us of a bunch of fun treats. We sipped and enjoyed our tea, and then afterwards we took a tour of the outside of Edinburgh Castle. It was another wonderful day, even though it was a little bit windy, and I had this flowy skirt on that I had worn because of the tea, and I was feeling my fantasy. We walked around the outside of the castle walls, as well as taking a look on the inside. I took a little bit of footage on the inside, but the lighting was not super great. The stained glass windows were really beautiful, but it was super dim inside, so I do apologize for the quality of the footage. We didn't spend too much time inside the castle, and we went back outside to take a look at more of the architecture and the walls of the castle. One thing I really loved was all the Gothic stonework on the different windows and areas of the castle. Also, I fully could not get over the views from the different walls and areas of the castle that we took a look at. You could see all across Edinburgh, which was so stunning, and I could just imagine being a queen and staring out at all of my subjects. I think that aside from visiting the cat cafe, having tea and visiting Edinburgh Castle was probably my second favorite thing that we did on our entire trip. It was just so beautiful the entire time. Definitely fulfilled my aesthetic fantasy. After visiting Edinburgh Castle, we walked down to see St. Giles Cathedral. We walked by it a couple times already on our walks in Edinburgh, but we wanted to go inside to see what it looked like. After visiting the cathedral, we went and saw the Scottish Parliament. We had walked up just to see the building, but while we were there, 2 soldiers on horseback came out. I will admit to being a bit of a horse girl, so I was super excited. I wasn't sure exactly what they were doing, but the horses were super beautiful. One guy was playing the bagpipes, and the 2 other soldiers who were riding the horses pulled their swords. We watched the horses a little bit more, and then we walked over to Greyfriars Kirkyard Cemetery. This graveyard has the grave of Tom Riddle, which was an inspiration for J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. And that is the conclusion of my wonderful Scotland adventure. If you have not yet seen the Ireland portion, just one more reminder that it is linked in the description, so make sure you check that out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below and tell me what your favorite part of the video was. I really appreciate you guys for clicking on this video and coming to hang out with me. Yeah, and if you made it through this whole thing, you are a champ. I hope you have a fantastic, wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!